Well, those of you baseball fans, what a fucking, whirlwind 24 hours. If you guys are baseball fans, you got to know about Shohei Ohtani and how he's a free agent and the whirlwind of social media crap that was going on. It was hilarious. You know, um, for the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays were neck and neck, and people were saying, well, the Blue Jays have a little bit of a inside thing with Atani, and somebody had scoped out flights, tracking down flights from Anaheim to Toronto, Pearson International, and found a business flight, private jet, and people are like, oh, Atani's going to be on that. He's coming to make an announcement that he's going to sign with the Jays. And, some dude at the MLB fucking even said, basically it looks like Atani's going to fucking sign with the Jays. And oh my God, people were going fucking nuts because of this plane. Oh, it's going to land at 3:45, 3:45. And there's going to be an announcement shortly after. No verification, nothing, no verification whatsoever that this was actually going to happen. But people blew it up on X, formerly Twitter, and elsewhere. We're just blowing it right up. I couldn't believe it. I figured I'd get in the game and tweet something like, let's go hashtag Otani, and oh my God, almost almost 1,000 views just from that alone. It was insane. And people were latching on to the hashtag to draw attention to, like, like fucking the shit that's going over in the Middle East with Israel and shit, and the Gaza Strip, and showing some pretty brutal, you know, pictures, and so on and so on. It was insane. And people had thought that the Dodgers really fucked up because their manager had openly said that they met with Otani and his people, and Otani's agent said, "Look, we want to keep this fucking on the lowdown. Please don't share anything anywhere in an interview that you met with Otani or anything like that." But he blew it out there, and people were going nuts. Okay, look, he fucked it up. He fucked it up. Okay, you know what? He's going to sign with the Jays, leading more credence into believing that the Jays were going to. I mean, the Jays were going to sign him. Hey, Cal, how are you? Hey, how's it going? Incarnate, haven't seen you in a while, buddy. How's it going? It's really insane, but of course, the fucking truth came out. The truth came out. It was all hogwash, crap, whatever. And literally probably hindered, and all it was just to drive the price up for Atani to sign with whoever. And of course, it was going to be the Dodgers today. It was announced. He announced it today. The Dodgers. I believe it was like 10 year, $700 million. 700 million fucking dollars for 10 years, you know. But hey, whatever. But that was the insanity. Everyone was talking about it online in social media and everything else. I don't know about you guys over in the UK. You guys are probably not huge baseball fans. I mean, you might have the odd baseball fans over there. I don't know. You guys are more into football, English football. It's like, the equivalent of, say, what's his name signing, fuck, whatever. But it's momentum. Momentum. because this is huge. This guy's a generational player. He's like the Babe Ruth, the modern day Babe Ruth. He pitches and he's a fucking home run beast. Although he can't pitch till 2025. That doesn't mean the guy has a shot at the triple crown of batting, which, hey, I wouldn't doubt he'll be close to getting it, especially if he's concentrating solely on his batting. He doesn't have to worry about pitching. But this guy's a dual fucking player, man. Fucking pitching and batting. And he does both really well. Really well. So, anyways, cheers to the Dodgers for signing him. And the Jays, well, hey, they have to endure another knock of hardship. But hey, life goes on, sports goes on. They make millions upon millions of billions of fucking dollars. So hey. Anyways, I figured I'd come in here on a Saturday night. It's really rare that we do this, or I do this, or whatever. Hey Neil, how are you? I'm well, thank you. Hopefully you are too. Excuse me. But this is going to be a rare, I don't know, short stream. I don't know how long it's going to be for, but figured we'd pop in here and see what you're all doing. I know it's Saturday night. I literally, I'm a bum tonight. I'm really not doing too much. It's close to Christmas, but hey, you never know. Some shit might go down later on. I don't know, but whatever. Um, but yeah, I figured to come in here. And well, first of all, I just wanted to let everybody know we have our last show of 2023 tomorrow night. Last scheduled guest of 2023 tomorrow night. Nancy Thames, who's going to come on and talk about UFO, UAP, whatever, disclosure, and contactee. She's a contactee or former contactee. She'll be on to talk about her experience. She's a former. I shouldn't say former contactee. I guess a contactee, but she's a former defense, I believe, is it U.S. defense employee. I can look at my notes again, but I'm almost certain U.S. defense employee. So I don't know how much clearance she had there or whatever. She's going to be fucking talking about any of that at all. Who knows? We might dive into that as well, but we'll see. I mean, she's never been on the show, so this is a first time guest for us. So should be interesting. And again, we're with you guys in terms of understanding the legitimacy of her story and everything else. So hopefully it'll be a rather interesting trip tomorrow night. That's again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, and 2 a.m. UK time. So if you're up in the UK at 2 a.m., pop on over and join us in the chat. You can listen to it obviously on the New Visions Radio Network as well. That will be broadcasting live and will be rebroadcasted throughout the week on the New Visions Radio Network. Hey, Safari, how are you? Good to see you, man. So, like I said, this is only going to be I don't know. I don't know how long we're going to go for, or I'm going to go for, but we'll go for as long as we can. I will open up things if somebody wants to join me up here on the panel. By all means, you're more than welcome to stop in and say hello and chat about whatever. I mean, well, to a certain extent. You know how you got those YouTube StreamYard bombers. I shouldn't say that word. Uh, who photo or video bomb whatever the shows. So we almost had one the other night. So, but yeah. Let's see. I'll put this out. And once again, if anybody wants to join, by all means, you're more than welcome to stop in and come up on the panel. So there you go. There's the link to click if you want to come up. Let's see here. Oh, pin it to the top. And there we go. Pin to the top. All necessary links are in the description. Once again, we are God, we're at what? Yeah, hold on, let me just check. 882 subscribers. Come on, guys, we're looking to get to 1K. So we're in the 1K race. So get it out there first, guys. Help us make it to 1K subscribers. I'd love to do it before New Year's, before the New Year's kicks off, but hey, who knows? We'll see. And again, any merch that you guys buy on our merch store, which is in the description notes as well. That again, anything that you guys purchase off the merch site, and hey, come on, there's lots of good Christmas presents there. Come on, and anything that's purchased on that goes directly into paying for StreamYard and New Visions Radio Network. We don't necessarily have any sponsors anymore. We used to have sponsors, but there was I don't know, just too much chaos when we had sponsors before. When we were just on the radio network. So yeah. So again, this helps us run the show on a monthly basis. So obviously anything you purchase from our merch store, again, we don't use other than going back into the running of the radio show. Yes. And again, well, Safari, I think was it Safari, or there was a couple of people who donated money for a trail cam for DeForest. Don't worry, that is still there. I'm still looking into that. I really haven't had time to grab a trail cam and go up to DeForest and deposit it in a good area. I'm kind of weary about leaving it there because you never fucking know. Um, but again, yeah, that's still on the books to do. I will be doing that. Trust me. Probably. Whew, I might do it in January when all this Christmas and New Year stuff's over with. I might look at a trail cam. Well, maybe even Boxing Day. You never know. You might be able to get a good deal for a trail cam. One with Bluetooth capabilities and so on and so on. So we could hopefully show you guys a live feed. But again, the live feed I think will be in a private setting. I don't think I'm going to broadcast it live or broadcast it on any platform because you don't want people seeing and eventually people in the area going up and grabbing the fucking trail cam, nabbing it. Plus, and the whole point with the trail cam is to capture anything that might not be explainable. And there's a lot of stuff up there that has been going on for many years, especially as long as we've been up there and investigating and researching the Pioneer Cemetery. A lot's been going on. A lot of stuff has been captured, especially EVP. And I've played quite a bit of them here on the show over the time here on YouTube, and again with the radio show. I've played some samples that we've captured. And again, I think one of the most interesting EVPs is probably here, let me see. I'll load it up and I'll play it for you guys quickly. Let Let me just load it up here. I just want to make sure I have it on this hard drive. Let's see. Okay, so again, this is just loading it up here, loading it up, loading it up. Okay, cool. So, anyways, this EVP is taken quite a while ago, and taken by one of the guys on the team who was talking with a woman in one part of the cemetery, and they were doing they had some excuse me, some divination rods or divine rods or whatever you call them, and she was kind of explaining to the guy in the Chris in the group who was recording, had a recorder there at the time, how to use them and so on and so on. So you hear him say something, and then you kind of hear the female responding, and then you kind of hear something as Chris is responding to her. So I'll play it, I'll loop it. You guys tell me what you think you hear. Of course, unless you've already heard it. But here we go. Here's one of the most famous EVPs from DeForest.
I'll check. Go around, ask some questions, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Just level to the ground like this.
Yeah, just make sure.
I'll check. Go around, ask some questions, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Just level to the ground like this.
Yeah, just make sure.
I'll check. Go around, ask some questions, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Just level to the ground like this.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys hear? What do you hear? What do you guys hear? I'm not going to force feed it. I just want to hear what you guys think you hear. Let's just see. Let's see. Make sure that's all loaded. That's loaded. Nobody knows. Nobody's saying anything. Come on, it's awfully quiet in the chat. No answers. No guesses. Hold on, let's see here. Here we go. No, I'm not gonna say that. No. Okay, let me just grab that. Load this guy up. Let me just okay, here's another one. No answers. Come on, guys. Too quiet. Yeah, so again, yeah, exactly, Neil. Yes, Neil wins a prize. Neil's got it. Yeah, basically, that's the general sort of thinking on what's being said. And, again, there have been lots of things that they think they're hearing, but for the most part, when you play that to people who've never heard it before, the greater percentage of people will say, I'm cold. They're hearing what sounds like a child or a little girl or, a child saying, I'm cold. And the reason why I kind of think that's significant is because that particular cemetery, again, this is an old pioneer cemetery, not in use. It hasn't been in use since the 1920s, I think, the 1920s or 1930s. It started off as a family plot for the DeForest family. And it grew a little bit, not a lot, for surrounding families in the area, particularly the Campbell family. And the Campbell family, there's a huge plot in the very back corner of DeForest that is primarily children or young kids. And back when they had, passed away, perished, was when smallpox and influenza basically ravaged these places because there was really no, you know, cure or anything. Not that there's a cure now, but at least they know how to sort of treat it. They know how to treat it, antibiotics and so on and so on. Back then, children drop like flies. It's scary, and I know it's not the best analogy, but they literally did. It was so bad. It was literally an epidemic with small children. So when you hear something like that, it kind of resonates. It kind of like, wow, how is this? How is this? Connected? How is this connected to the history of that particular cemetery? And that's the hard part, trying to understand who this might be and why are they saying I'm cold, right? And again, like I mentioned, there's a lot of children buried up there. Hey, Gordy, how are you? Jordy, sorry. There's a lot of children buried up there. And it's not like any of us have ever heard how they've, what their voices sounded like because we didn't live back then. We're talking again, we're talking like the turn of the century, even earlier. Like we're talking the early to mid to even late 1800s. So whose voice is it? And why are they saying I'm cold? I'll play it again. I'll play it again for those who may not have heard it, who are just joining us. I'll play it. This is captured at DeForest Pioneer Cemetery. Here we go. I'll loop it for a little bit, and again, Neil's kind of pointed out what it says, but if you haven't read what Neil said,
Just make sure.
I'll check, go around and ask some questions and we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
So just level to the ground like this.
Yeah, just make sure.
I'll check, go around and ask some questions and we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
So just level to the ground like this.
Yeah, just make sure.
I'll check, go around and ask some questions and we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
So just level to the ground like this.
Yeah, just make sure.
I'll check, go around and ask some questions and we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
So just level to the ground like this.
Yeah, just make sure.
So there you go. There you go. One of the, like I said, it's literally one of the most famous uh, EVPs extracted from that particular area. I haven't really heard of anything outside of what we've gathered there from anybody else that seems to be quite as clear as that. And kind of makes you think, like, is that because I can tell you over the we'd been working with the local historical society and so on and so on, and sort of trying to gather some information about that cemetery because there was very little known about that cemetery. Even the town where it resides and the historical society had little information about who or how many people were buried in this particular pioneer cemetery. And we had to go to an outside source, a genealogical logical source, a guy in the 80s, I think it was in the 80s, had gone up there and documented himself the names and the dates on all those headstones and did a little bit of you know back research and putting two and two together and blah 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 and really coming up with a very extensive um sort of look into who is there and how many people are there. And again, it's not everyone, because when I first started going up there I think it was like 2005 was the very first time I was up there, and it was in such bad shape. It had not been taken care of for years. And when back then the DeForest home was still there in the back, the old DeForest homestead, again owned by somebody else, and the schoolhouse that was on the property, which was like made for it was made the use was a church and a schoolhouse for the local community. And you know what, it was really intriguing because the people who owned that house were curious when we had gone up there and did some work, some audio work, taking some pictures. And I remember a couple times the guy who owned the divorce house at the time would drive over on his tractor. He was cutting his grass, and he'd pull over and say, "Hey, how's it going? Just curious, what are you guys doing?" And I told him, I said, "Hey, yeah, we're part of a paranormal group, and we're just taking some audio and snapping some pictures and trying to understand this little cemetery." And he was like so intrigued with that. And he went as far to say, "Look, at the house that I own here is a part. This was a part of the land at one time. It was owned by the DeForest family." I'm like, "Wow, that is really cool." And the DeForest family, they were loyalists who fled the U.S. in the early 1800s during the war between England and the U.S., Canada at the time. Well, English and French, defending against the Americans who were trying to, conquer more sort of land, if you will, around the Great Lakes. They literally wanted the Great Lakes, and the English and the French and the uh, uh, native who were also helping the English fight off the Americans as well. But anyways, the loyalists were people who are loyal to the crown, to the homeland, to England, who were living in the U.S. At the time, they were going through a revolution, and anyone who was loyal to to England were shone upon. And when you look at today, at the U.S. today, you look at many of the Northeast states, Vermont, Massachusetts, New England, uh, New England, and what else? Maine, and I know I'm missing another one, but anyways, they were all that general area was they were loyalists. They were loyal to, at the time, the King George, and then Queen Elizabeth. But so anyways, many of them fled and fled for Canada, because Canada was literally under majority UK governance. Gordy, there's a grave here next to the Grand Old Hall. Hey, Ghost Adventures, how are you? Well, you know what I would suggest is maybe just taking a recorder on a quiet night and just record. You'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised what you capture. And a lot of people, like I myself, I'm kind of skeptical with cemeteries being haunted, if you will. But I mean, they may be haunted for different reasons. depending on how old the cemeteries are, we really, the earlier the cemetery, the less we knew about death. So, there was possibly people who had died or thought to have died and were buried alive. Hence the ringer line. If somebody was buried in a casket, they'd at least have that lifeline ringing that bell, and hopefully there'd be somebody around to hear it. You know, you'd luck out, and maybe somebody would help you out. I mean, there was coffins opened up where there was fucking scratch marks from people who are trying to get out. You know. Yes, all good here, Mark. Thank you. It's been a while. It's yeah. I mean, it's I do have a few more EVPs from that particular Pioneer Cemetery, but as I stated, the owners of the house were very intrigued. In fact, we were going to go in and investigate the house, which was going to be really cool because it kind of added to the essence of the cemetery. Because yeah, exactly, Mark. I totally agree. The older the cemetery, the more activity you get. I do agree with that. Newer cemeteries, again, like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with how, our knowledge of death. I mean, when people die, they're dying. They're going to haunt either the last place they were at where they died, or a place familiar to them. They may be confused. They may have unfinished tasks at hand. All sorts of reasoning. All sorts of reasoning. Why a cemetery um, may not be haunted. Because I kind of think that, if you die, you're not going to haunt the cemetery where you're being buried, because your physical vessel, that's all that's going there. Your energy, your non-physical being, your if you want to call it your soul, has moved on. It's transitioned, or it's trapped in the area where you've passed away. Or, like I said, the following before. Interesting, Jordy. Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool. See, I wish I was over there. There's so much history. So many places over there. Such long history. You know. I mean, you have history here, but not quite nearly as much as over there, obviously. Hey, Steve, how are you? Good to see you, man. It's yeah. I mean, you got to be logical with cemeteries and the possibility of them being haunted. There's a lot of people that go into these places simply because they're creepy, and we're talking about new cemeteries, especially newer cemeteries. I mean, they have a stigma. Oh, I don't want to go in the cemetery at night. It's frightening. It's scary. Let's go there and thrill seek. And let's go there and look for ghosts. It doesn't go that way. It really doesn't. Um, yeah, there are many cemeteries that have legends and myths and stuff like that. You look at Bachelor's Grove in Chicago, Illinois, and of course the Highgate cemetery in London there, like, I mean, come on. Let's be realistic though. Is there really hauntings going on there? Is there? I want to say new ones, not so much the older ones. I like Mark said, he gets more activity from older cemeteries, and I agree. I agree. Because again, it it all depends on our knowledge of death, you know, on the dying process. You know, say for instance, during the Black Plague or some sort of influenza or some sort of pandemic, you know, way back. We didn't have the scientific knowledge to understand these plagues. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. And people just pile these people that might have been dead and may not have been. They might have been dying, but not dead, and just burying them because they didn't want the plague to fucking, further spread. Quickly, quick, dump them in that fucking pit there. Exactly, Mark. Agreed. You know, I think that plays a huge part in it all. Absolutely. You know, a huge part. Our understanding and beliefs really play a huge role in some of especially some of the older cemeteries. Hey Tracy, how are you? The older the cemetery, does that mean the more haunted it's going to be? Not necessary. Not necessarily. But I tend to agree that more the older, the more activity you probably get. Yeah, exactly. Battlefields, executions, raids. Absolutely. And again, people were left dead, on these battlefields, left to die, and they were still alive. Just, you know, dying a slow death because they had a wound, a really bad wound that most people thought, oh, this guy's dead. There's no point. Move on. Or they couldn't do anything with him because they themselves were in danger and had to retreat or, go to some, safe, haven, if you will, some safe spot. I mean, and again, going back to DeForest's particular cemetery that I'm talking about, there are no. I mean, there is kind of a battle scenario around it, but not extremely to that point that we know of, anyways. That there was any real battle. I mean, there was battles between the Americans, the Americans at the time, and the English and the natives who were helping the English fend off the Americans. There was battles quite up into this area where I am situated now. Very bloody battles. In fact, there's a place not too far from here called Battlefield Park, and it's houses one of the. It's a park that historically houses one of the most brutal areas or battles between the Americans. Hey, John, how are you? Good to see you, man. Again, if anybody wants to join me, by all means, just click the link up there and come on in. Again, this is open tonight. I'm just blabbing on about a pioneer cemetery that I know about, that I've been doing some research about and all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting. But Battlefield Park is one of the bloodiest battles areas. It's I want to say it comes close to it, not quite on scope to be Canada's Gettysburg, but it was pretty bad, pretty brutal. But the English and the natives were able to fend off the Americans and drive them back down to obviously back south of the modern day border between the U.S. and Canada. Oh, absolutely, Jordy, absolutely. Like I said, Battlefield Park. When you can, we've gone in there, and one evening, it was just so fucking eerie. Just the one open field. It was very very foggy. But when you looked in towards that area, you could swear you see what looks like soldiers running across with their rifles across the field. And across the road where that field is, there's a cemetery. And in that cemetery, at the very front corner of that cemetery, which is the oldest part of that cemetery, there are four horsemen, four British horsemen who were decapitated, lost their heads, who are buried there. And people claim, again, and this is claims. I don't have any, substantial fucking evidence, but hey, I'd love to have some evidence. And there are stories, and again, stories of people who have claimed to have seen these four horsemen riding into this area and looking for their heads. Imagine driving and pulling over to the side and you have no fucking idea about this historical aspect of that area. And all of a sudden, you see what looks like four dudes on four horses that don't have any heads. That'd be fucked up. That would be really fucked up, but cool nonetheless to witness. I mean, come on. When you investigate the paranormal, when you research and all that's like that's like the Wonka golden ticket, man. Come on. Hey, if you're able to capture something like that and document it, wow. But you know what? You sit there and say, oh, the naysayers would pick it apart, scrutinize it to hell and say, look, bullshit. You CGI'd it, you edited it, and hey, you got to have a thick fucking skin because that happens all the time. One thing I've found doing research where I live, there doesn't seem to be a lot of Roman ghosts, plenty of white ladies. Yeah, you hear that. That seems to be a common theme. Ladies in white. To this day, I don't understand why. I mean, if somebody has the answer to that, I'd love to hear it. But you hear claims of that everywhere. I mean, yeah, you get the odd claims, the lady in brown or the lady in gray, lady in gray pertaining to the dark woodlot, what we're doing the documentary on right now. But I mean, you hear it. Well, yeah, I mean, you look at Japanese folklore, the yukai system. Um, one of the legendary fucking themes of hauntings are women who have died scorned and looking for revenge, and that's where you get the whole long haired thing that you saw in the ring and all that shit. That really is a real thing in Japanese folklore. Long haired, black long hair with women, or women scorned women. That's the ghosts of scorned women. I know it would be pretty freaky, but imagine capturing something like that. Imagine capturing something like that. That would be insane. Insane. I like I one thing that I've captured. I've captured a lot of stuff. Not a lot on video. I mean, I've captured some stuff on video that's pretty freaking amazing. Like ball movement in Waverly Hill Sanitarium. That no, it defies explanation. It really does. But audio, just some audio that I've captured, just it is fucking mind blowing. And I played one of the most mind blowing pieces that I've captured to you guys a few times. I mean, I could play it for you guys right now if you haven't heard it. Okay, I'll play it for you guys. For those of you guys who have not heard it, I played it over and over. You guys have seen it or heard it, but I'll play it for you guys here. And again, it just it defies explanation. Just defies it. And let me just load it up here. Let me load it up here. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Bear with me, guys. Here we go. I think this is the one here. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Guys, if you have not seen this, I'm not going to say anything. I just want you guys to hear, and I want your idea. I want your thoughts on what you hear and what you think it might be. But here we go. And again, you're going to hear, okay, so this is taken from, I'll give you a little scenario. This is taken um this is taken from a my camera guy walkthrough of an old farmhouse. He's walking through the upstairs bedroom level, and this house was built in 1899. And he centers in on this old painting called Cherry Ripe, an old oil painting. And again, it's not the original; it's a replica. And as he's there, you hear his weight creaking on the floor, and then all of a sudden you hear something. And again, you're going to hear people in the background. They're downstairs in the kitchen area as he's walking through. But there's absolutely nobody there with him. He's alone, and he didn't hear this. He didn't hear it. Real time, he didn't hear it. So here we go. Here we go. Guys, let me know what you think. Okay, I'll play it one more time. So what do you guys think? What do you think? I know I've played that a few times, so some of you probably. But again, there's nobody there with the camera guy. Absolutely nobody there with the camera guy when he was recording this. So he was the only person upstairs. And again, it's a museum. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Green Diesel, how you doing, man? Exactly, Jordy. It sounds like singing or a nursery rhyme, reciting a nursery rhyme. You know, and you if you listen to it on your with headsets or whatever else, not good, not doing good. That sucks, man. Hopefully everything's okay. But it's you listen to it with your headphones and you go, wow. Um, I sent this to Matt of the Secret Vault, and he kind of let me just see if I can find. He manipulated it with the AI. Let me see. I'll see if I can find the audio. He was able to extract. Let me just see. Let me just see. Where are we? Uh, let's see. I don't know if this is at here. This might be at here. This might be what Matt was able to under psychic attack. Absolutely, and I that's the way I do it, Jordy. That's the way I absolutely I absolutely I don't like force feeding and sort of contaminating the thought process. Um because I want to know what you actually hear. I want to know what you're hearing. And when reviewing this sort of material with the group, I do the same thing. I ask the guys, email me or message me what you hear. I don't want you to message anybody else. And I kind of, connect everything together once everybody from the group kind of gives me their thoughts on what they're hearing, and you kind of draw a conclusion there. But yeah, I think that's the best way of reviewing, especially EVPs, because not a lot of them are clear. A lot of them are clear, and it's the crystal clear ones that are amazing, and they're rare. They're rarer, the crystal clear. Let me just read here. Uh, yeah, well, yeah, exactly, Jordan. Jordy, that's what happens. I mean, once you say once I say what I hear, automatically it's front loaded to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I hear that, without being able to form your own opinion because you've been contaminated. I have an experience that actually lived too. My camera. Interesting. Absolutely. I would love to hear it, Mark. Send it to me. Yeah. Email is nocturnalfrequencyradio@gmail.com. I'd absolutely love to hear it. To me, it sounded like interesting. Yeah. To me, it sounded like your kids. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So here, I think this is, let me just load it up here. I think this is what Matt had found or put together when he ran it through his AI generator. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, here's the audio. Amazing, isn't it? It's just, and let me tell you that literally, that clip, that literal clip taken from the video coverage of the very first time we had gone into this farmhouse. It was 2009. 2009. I totally missed it when I reviewed the video footage. I did not see or hear that particular clip. It wasn't until almost 10 years, yeah, literally 10 years later, when I decided to put together a 10th anniversary video, documentary together, documentary for the curator of the house. And when I was going through all the old footage, and I'm watching the very first walkthrough of documentation of the house, and I tend to do that because because you always miss something. There's always something you miss. And when I stumbled upon that, I was, wow, this is this is incredible. This is probably the best the best audio capture I've ever probably captured. That kind of leads into a historical aspect of a location. I was just blown away. I'm like, how did that, you know, stay hidden for 10 years? How did I miss that the first time? It was like literally insane. And because of that, I've been going through a lot of old, footage, especially old footage. Um because probably the very first time going through a lot of the footage, I wasn't really concentrating too much on the audio, which you really should be doing. You really should concentrate on the audio as well, because it's very important when you're reviewing your video, your visual footage of a location. It's very important to really, really concentrate on the audio as well. It's very important. You'll be very surprised. And that particular that footage was actually captured on digital high 8 magnetic tape. Digital high 8. I had an old Sony high 8 night vision camera back before they got rid of the filter, the X-ray filter. The sucker has the X-ray filter on it still. And I'm like, and back then it was easier to get tape still for it. Now it's just, you can get tapes, but you're literally paying up the wazoo for one tape, you know. But anyway, Sony's night vision back in the day was really good. But anyways, it was the audio that really stirred the pot with that. And like I said, that's not the only thing that I was able to capture. It was the best and the clearest sign of activity, if you will, that evening. You know, so hey, Mark Kernell, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see. I've got a whole bunch of people from Cornwall. How are you guys? You got Mark and Mark from Cornwall. uh, but yeah, it's just incredible. Like I said, incredible piece of footage. Incredible piece of footage. I'll play it for you guys again. What I'll do is I'll play the video footage, and then I'll play the AI enhanced audio that Matt was able to um, put together before. Okay, so here we go. Let me just load it up again. Video. There we go. Okay, so here you go. Here you go. Here's the. Cheers, Mark. I got it. Thank you. I will go over it later for sure, man. Thank you for sending that. But again, there you go. There's the visual sort of aspect of it. Here's the audio that again Matt was able to secure with his AI generator. So there you go. I mean, yeah, like the clear sort of consensus with this is that it is obviously sounding like a little girl singing or reciting some sort of nursery rhyme. What she's reciting is it's really hard to make out. And like I said, I've had people kind of give it a go. It's really tough. I thought perhaps maybe it's some sort of nursery rhyme back from that era, and I'm really having a hard time trying to find a nursery rhyme that kind of like is similar, or a song. I thought maybe okay, maybe it has something to do with the painting being cherry ripe. Cherry ripe is the painting is based on the old English song Cherry Ripe, but no, it's not. Has nothing to do with cherry ripe. And I that was kind of a wild goose chase because I mean that painting was it's an actual replica. It's not an original. So, and it wasn't original to the house. So, but that's not to say that perhaps things have been brought into the house by objects, right? I mean, that is a theory. That is things that is a constant thing that goes on with hauntings, right? You know, your house is fine, but then all of a sudden you go to an antique market and you buy an old fucking chest, right? An old chest built in the 1800s or whatever else. Hey, Danny, how are you? Good, buddy. Hit the link if you want. If anybody wants to pop in here, by all means, click the link at the top of the chat. Um, like it just amazes me. But yeah, if you buy that sort of old chest from the 1800s or whatever, and all of a sudden you've got this strange activity unfolding in your house. You never you never had it before, right? And then all of a sudden you put two and two together and say, hey, Storms, how are you? Good to see you. You put two and two together and say, hey, wait a sec. Things started when I bought that chest. That chest is haunted. It's a haunted object. So, I mean, there's all sorts of scenarios that can play it. And again, with this child singing, is this child singing in due part to the history of the house, or was it brought in with an object that the museum brought in to sort of, because there's a lot of objects in that house that aren't, you know, part and parcel of the house. They were brought in to give you an idea of what a house or a farm was like to live on, you know, at the turn of the century, 1899, whatever. So I mean, it could be anything, anything at all. But the fact remains, it's there. It played out. I tried to recreate it on several occasions going back. I tried to recreate it. Nothing. Couldn't spark anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing remotely close. That's not to say that other things haven't played out in that house. Shitloads have played out in that house. I look forward to it, Mark. Hey, well known. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. It's hmm, it's there's been a lot. One thing in particular is, now I'm going to play some audio from this place. Other than the child singing. Let's see. Let me pull it up here. There's so much. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. No. Nope. Okay, here we go. Which one's this one? There's a phenomenon that goes on in that house, and a lot of it has to do with the audio that's captured there. You hear what sounds like a door slamming, right? Um, a door slamming. Here is one example of capturing that phenomenon. And again, it's what I can't explain it. We've tried to recreate that door slamming with all the doors in that house, and nothing comes close to this sound. But anyways, here's one sample of it. Because there's something in this area. Knowing that the camera picked something up, what was it? Because there's something in this area. Knowing that the camera picked something up, what was it? Because there's something in this area. Knowing that. So you hear the door slam, and then all of a sudden it sounds like there's like a handle or a chain rebounding and hitting that door as it slams. I'll play it again. you hear that little latch, that bangs, lifts up, and then bangs again against the door as it slams.
The camera picks up. What was it? Because there's something in this area. Knowing that the camera picks up. What was it? Because there's something in this area. Knowing that the camera picks up. What was it?
It's again, there's just so many. What's this one here? Let's see. There's just okay. I'm trying to find the bangs for now. Before I play any other from the. Okay. Just bear with me, guys. Here, I'm just going through. Okay, here we go. Here's another version of it here. There's another version of it here, and again, this is the door banging. But this is from another occasion there. Like you clearly hear it. I'll play the other one.
Area. Knowing that the camera.
And this is a constant thing when you go there. At some point when you're recording audio, you're going to get that bang. It might be far, it might be close by, whatever, but you get that bang, and it doesn't make any sense because there's everybody is together usually in a room doing a session or whatever, and then all of a sudden, bang, you don't hear it. Hey, Lewis, how are you? Good to see you, man. Okay, so here is one of the more notorious bangs, if you will, because this, again, I'm not going to force feed this. I'm you guys tell me what you hear, but there's a bang involved with this one as well. And again, this is just really weird. You're going to hear talking in the background, but you're going to hear something with the audio recorder in the room that it's in. It's in the front parlor room on top of a fireplace mantle. The front parlor room at the time used to be the place where they'd carry out the funerals or the viewings of people who had passed away because they didn't have money to do it, in a special place or whatever. So they'd have them in their homes. Here you go. You just load this guy up. Make sure it's loaded up. And again, this plays into the banging phenomena there. But this has more than just the bang. The bang is afterwards. There's something before the bang.
That's the beauty of Victoria. It doesn't have to go together.
Yeah, I get. Wouldn't the decorators have no bit right now?
That one's the only one I didn't hear.
That was more upstairs. It wasn't like the one we were hearing there. No.
That's the beauty of Victoria. It doesn't have to go together.
Yeah, I get.
Okay, so what are you guys hearing? What are you hearing before the bang? Because you hear the bang on the end, but you're hearing talking, and that talking is coming. It's us in the room, in the dining room, which is across the front hallway from where the front parlor room is, where that recorder was left, and you hear something with that recorder, directly with that recorder. What do you guys hear? What do you hear? I'll play it again. Tell me what you guys hear. Tell me. Okay.
Wasn't
That one's the only one I didn't hear.
that was more upstairs. It wasn't like the one we were
Wasn't
hearing
like
yet.
the one.
No.
That's the beauty of Victoria. It doesn't have to go together.
Yeah, I get.
So what are you guys hearing? What are you going? Exactly, Safari. Exactly. A man coughing and clearing his throat. As plain as day, as clear as day. You're hearing clearing the throat. And there was nobody there with that. Nobody. But along with that, you have that banging of a door or cupboard or whatever it is. That phenomena plays out throughout that house on several occasions in there. It's weird. And upon trying to recreate it 50 million ways to Sunday, whatever the saying is, can't figure it out. Can't recreate it. Makes no sense. Was there a fucking door or something that used to be in that house that no longer is there? Or is there a door somewhere hidden behind one of the walls in that house, maybe? That has been covered over the years that might lead to somewhere? Hey, anything's possible, right? But it's crazy that this plays out constantly. And like I said, this is the same house that is where you guys heard the child singing or reciting the nursery rhyme. This is the same house. Same house. The same house where I brought two people at two different times. Got sick in the same area instantly. Started feeling really sick in the same area. On a third occasion, we brought in a trimeter, and the trimeter shot off the fucking charts. And there's nothing there that would cause it to shoot off the charts. No electrical panel, no current, anything that is visible or noticeable or in the structure of the house. It makes no sense. But yet people get sick in that general area. At least two people have on two separate occasions. Why? I don't know. You tell me. Weird. Okay, so continue on. I'll play some more EVPs taken from this particular location. This let me just I'm gonna listen to this. I'm gonna set this EVP up because it's significant. But I must faint. Let's see what it is. Where are we? I can't find it now all of a sudden. No, I'm not finding it now. All of a sudden, I can't find it. Bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to find the right. I'm not finding it, but there was. There was an incident when I was let me just play this last one. Okay, so I'll play this one, but just to give you a little story. Load open. There we go. So a little story about when I was in there the one time, and I was in the front parlor room again. I had a recorder in there with me, and we had some DVR cameras set up for to capture any possible activity. But I had the lights off, and I'm as psychic dumb as they come. I'm not psychic, and I have never claimed to be psychic. But upon doing this EVP session that I was doing by myself in that particular room, I had this overwhelming feeling that there was children entering the room. And again, this room is separated by a partition wall. There's like you can open and close this partition wall. And this room, back in the day, children were not allowed to come in. It was an adults only room. And, bearing that in mind, I started asking questions, sort of like, you guys aren't supposed to be here. Why are you in here? You're going to get in trouble if your parents know you're in here. You're playing hide and go seek, whatever. I was asking questions geared towards children. And as I was doing that, I, sitting there and listening to see if there's any responses or anything going on, and nothing. But all of a sudden, my shirt sleeve was being tugged like that. And of course, I react, trying to make heads or tails of it, explain what the fuck just happened. And we're talking this was like August. It was very stagnant. This house, the windows, they don't open the windows. So the windows were closed. It was very stagnant in the house, very warm. It was a warm August night. We're talking in the 30s. And all of a sudden, my shirt was being tugged just like that. It made no sense. It's no wind, no breeze could do something like that. But I immediately said to the guys, stop. Let's look at the footage from the cameras and listen to some of the audio and see if we can find something here. Something just happened that kind of doesn't make sense. And as we were doing that, I was going through the audio, quickly reviewing the audio, and you could hear what sounds like a woman, a sick woman who was basically almost like they were on their last legs, if you will, about to die, and saying something and grunting, like moaning, their last words, but you can't make them out. And sorry, I just and it was just really weird. I can't find it, but anyways, here's another clip from this particular location. Very weird one, just very odd. Okay, here we go. Glad I have my recorder in there. Yeah. Glad I have my recorder in there. So we actually heard this. Oh, that. Glad I have my recorder in there. Yeah. And the crack. Glad I have
my recorder in there.
You know, yeah, just weird, just weird. Just really, really weird, really odd. Can I quickly ask who is the male speaking over her? Is that also unexplained? No, what you're hearing, and again I'll play it. That you hear some of the people downstairs. Okay, you're down in the back, or sorry, in the front kitchen area. The camera guy. Are you talking about which one are you talking about? Are you referring to the cough one, or are you referring to the girl singing? Which one are you referring to, Mark? Just wondering, so I can sort of explain or try to explain, anyways. Uh, but yeah, okay. We're probably going to go for a little bit longer, not much longer, because I actually gotta take off. But I wanted to pop in here and say hello, and I don't know, see where the conversation was going to take us this evening for a little bit, anyways, and to let you guys know that we do have a show. Our last scheduled guest of 2023, Nancy Thames, will be joining us at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our regular time slot here on YouTube, Twitch, and of course on the New Visions Radio Network, which will be rebroadcasted, obviously, and you can catch the archives here when it's all said and done. Hey, Brixie, how are you? Again, that will be the last scheduled guest show of 2023. We always go into our Christmas and New Year's hiatus, and we're back. January. Let me just look here. I don't want to screw up again. January 7th with Lloyd Blackburn, and we're going to be talking about the folk monster. Fascinating story. Some of you guys know the Legend of Boggy Creek, the movie. The folk monster is the centerpiece of that story. I remember seeing that when I was a kid, and it scared the fucking living shit out of me. And to this day, it's still very atmospheric and very, very creepy. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. It's called The Legend of Boggy Creek. I don't know if it's on any streaming platform. It may be. I don't know. But if you can, watch it. I loved it when I was a kid. I still love it. I actually got to get the 4K disc that's out there now. I'd really like to get that. But Lyle's going to be coming on. He's a modern day monster hunter, if you will. We're going to be talking about that and so much more. And again, that's kicking off the second half of our season 16 scheduled guests series. But yeah, until then, I think I'm going to probably end this for now. But I want to thank you guys for all coming in. Good to see people I haven't seen in a while. You know, obviously, Mark, Ghost Adventures of Cornwall, and of course, Mark Kernell. It's good to see you. It's been a long time. And again, Lewis, it's been a while. Take care. Well known. Take care. Cal, always good to see you. Safari, of course, you as well. Urbexy, good to see you. And Danny popped in. Good to see you, Danny, down under. And I don't want to. Jordy, of course, take care, my friend. Good to see you. And well, so I want to make sure I get everybody here. Green Diesel, if you're still listening in, tuned in, watching, whatever. Yeah. Until the next time, guys. If you're around tomorrow night at 9 p.m., guys, pop on in. Always good to see you guys. Always love the support. And again, like, subscribe if you've not subscribed to the show. Help us get to 1K. Put us out there, guys. Help us out. And if I don't see any of you guys or here or whatever until Christmas, have a great Christmas, guys. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.